Hi, subscribe to my channel Shobha Rana for more.
Trin, I also want to talk about healthcare per se for trans people. Like, are there policies which include your surgeries? Because I think if it is a right, or if it is the way of identifying as someone and living their life in comfort as a certain person
Yeah.
is important for them,
Yeah.
then it should be included in health policies also, as in these
Yeah.
surgeries. I'm assuming they're expensive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So these surgeries, not everybody can afford it. And gender identification shouldn't be only for an elite class of people who can
Yeah,
afford it and
absolutely,
stuff. So are there policies like that designed which cover the surgeries and which cover your healthcare needs basically?
Right. So, as far as trans people are concerned, our healthcare needs are usually of two kinds. Stuff that is related to gender affirmation, or basically, feeling comfortable in your gender identity and in your skin. And then there's, of course, other healthcare needs that everybody has. For a cold or for whatever other healthcare concern
Right.
that any human being may have, trans people also have that, right?
Right.
On both those fronts, it's always been an issue in medicine. As someone that's gone through her MBBS, I have seen how subjects like forensic medicine, gynecology, had outdated queerphobic, transphobic information in it, right? So much as there is a long way to go, there have been steps that have been taken as far as policy is concerned. For example, the Madras High Court, right? There was a case where two lesbian women had run away from home and were being harassed by their biological families. So Justice Anand, an incredible man, what he did is he reached out to a bunch of people from the community, including myself, to learn more. And when he gave his verdict, he also in his verdict directed the National Medical Commission to remove all of this old queerphobic stuff from these textbooks. So that's actually happening right now. So things are happening, and every state government, in fact, should have a trans healthcare policy. Karnataka does have one. Kerala has one, as far as I know. To what degree it's been implemented is questionable. But, the Trans Persons Act and the NALSA judgment, etc., they do lay down protections and coverage for trans people, but it's yet to be implemented by state governments.
Yeah, so it's there in maybe theory now, but in
Yeah.
practice you're yet
Yeah.
to see it really doing things.
And it's a lot more complicated than just coverage of a certain amount of money, because if doctors are not trained only, right? Because when it comes to gender affirmation, it's not just one surgery. It's quite an elaborate process for people that need it. First, you need to go to a psychiatrist. You need to have a certain number of sessions, get a gender dysphoria letter, right? What is gender dysphoria? It's the discomfort a trans person feels with their body or with the gender that they were assigned at birth, right? So first you need to get that letter, you need to go to an endocrinologist and get your hormone replacement therapy ka prescription. Phir 1 saal ho jane ke baad you have surgery. So there's multiple specialties involved, right? So the psychiatry, dermatology for laser, endocrinology, general surgery, plastic surgery. So all of that infrastructure we don't really have in the country yet. So you have like scattered doctors doing things here and there in different parts of the country, but like working like a team for trans healthcare, that's not something I've seen in a lot of places. America that way, in Boston for example, they're far ahead. Some hospitals have full departments dedicated to trans people's healthcare. तो बहुत कुछ करना बाकी है अभी, if that makes sense.
But I'm happy that you and the people like you are raising their voice and are getting all of this into our consideration, because healthcare is such a basic need of every human, and it should be accessible to everyone irrespective of who or what they identify with, right?
I agree. I feel like, even if it's a small cough to this day, I'm a doctor, so I can handle it.
True.
But sometimes if there is something that's just not going away, if I feel like I need help, I get very scared. I shudder to go to a hospital, because, if you have to give your entire medical history to someone, zaruri nahi hai ki wo samjhenge just because they're a doctor, So now you can only imagine what the case is for someone who's on the streets, who doesn't have access to everything that I have. I'm very fortunate. I'm very lucky. But for someone who doesn't have access, of course it's going to be harder. Like hospital के अंदर जाना ही मुश्किल हो जाता है भाई. Security guard तुमको ताड़ देगा वहाँ से. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's difficult on that level for so many people.
Very true, very true. But with, like you said, transgender law coming into play, at least in theory, I'm hopeful that things will change in practice also
Right.
for the community, for everyone, because in the end, it boils down to humanity. If you're discriminating like this, you're not operating on a humane level, and that's just so wrong.
Yeah.